Welcome to Happy Pace with Gretchen and Elaine. It's June and we are here to celebrate Global Running Day for the entire month. Global Running Day was on June 5th, but we said, hey, we run for more than one day a year, and this is a running podcast. Let's not limit the celebrations to just one day. So we ran with someone who knows the ins and outs of Gretchen's running journey. Running coach, running community leader, and owner of Filla Endurance, Filla. You know it's going to be a good episode when you don't want the run to end. So this was my first time meeting Laura, and I hope to run with her again soon. We will have 2 more episodes coming out this month with more female running community leaders in the St. Louis area. Once you've caught up with our main features, make sure you catch up with Gretchen and mine's personal running journeys on the Fartlek Friday episodes. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Now, it's time to settle in and fall in sync with our happy pace.
I was just making more challenging. It's early in the morning.
It's a good balance. Try to practice your balance.
Yeah. Might as well just do some of my PT right now. It's only been ages. I updated my watch and it still doesn't do that fancy sleep thing that yours has now.
I sleep with my watch on. I know Leah.
Really?
Leah's obsessed with the sleep data.
She is obsessed with the sleep data.
I just I don't know. I'm really weird. I can't have any lights on either or any fans.
We need it dark and very quiet.
Yeah.
I'll pass out if I need to. I'm really
That's how
good
my
at
son
sleeping.
is. He's just
I'm like your
he'll
child.
sleep anywhere. Yeah. It's just the first day of daycare, I brought him home and I literally looked away for 1 second and then he's in the living room just
Long day?
Yeah. I'll take you guys on the lagoon lake.
So today's guest, I have had the pleasure of knowing for a couple of years now. Started through Big River and then she's actually my coach. So Laura, tell us a little about yourself and kind of who you are.
Okay, so my name is Laura. I'm 35. I'm a mom of a soon-to-be 4-year-old and 8-year-old. I own my own coaching business, which I started during the pandemic, and I've been coaching for about 5 years. So I'm also a contracted coach for Big River Running. I'm a certified personal trainer, so I'm big on the strength training side of things. It's a little about me.
Awesome.
What were you before you were a coach?
Oh, yes. So my professional background is in high-volume retail management. Believe it or not, I've been able to translate a lot of what I learned managing multi-million-dollar fashion retail stores, working on things for people professional development, strong onboarding process, customer service, just being able to run a business and understand the financials behind it. I kind of took that skill set and brought it over into something that I'm a lot more passionate about.
That's super interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so that
Feels
makes
like a
sense.
lifetime ago.
Now you've used those skills to start your own business, and okay, that makes sense.
And it's it's funny because when I was a store manager, it was always the people development and coaching people to be their best professional selves that I liked.
Yeah.
So
Coaching is coaching.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's running or working a store or whatnot.
Yes.
That's really cool.
So what prompted you to start your coaching business?
So I became certified because I wanted to be able to write my own training plans. I had worked with a coach who I just wasn't I don't know, I was I feel there's more to this, and I just wanted to learn more about the sport. So after that, I had a handful of friends who wanted me to coach them. They knew that I was certified. I was well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it the right way, because there are legalities involved. It's good to establish a business for a legal shield, the right way to do it.
Yeah.
And so I started a business, wasn't really planning on growing. And then, word of mouth got around, and it's been pretty successful. So I have about 35 athletes that I'm coaching right now. And I just brought on 3 contract coaches for my own LLC this year.
which is awesome.
That's incredible.
Such an awesome, like, you went from just yourself to now you have 3 additional coaches, like, super cool.
Yeah. So with bringing them on, it was like, okay, do I want to be a running coach with like 100 athletes who all get a similar plan and very little communication with me, or do I want to have like a quality first coaching business where we can have like real relationships with our athletes, which is what we all want as coaches.
Yeah.
They all come from totally different backgrounds than me, but similar values that kind of align, and we like working together a lot.
Yeah, I will say, like, just knowing I can, like, obviously you have different plans and stuff, but knowing that I can just, like, text you and be like, hey, this went well, this went really bad, like, and it's more, like, personalized, because, you know, before I got a coach, it was really just marathon plan or half marathon plan, and
Paul Higdon, the king of search engine optimization.
Exactly. So for me, it's been great.
Yeah. And like not all athletes like want that level of communication, and like I respect that. Like I have had consultations with people who are just like, well, I just want to do my own thing. I want to like check in every couple months, and like that is okay. Those just might not be the people for me, you know?
Yeah.
And luckily there are other coaches out there. So, yeah.
Cool. So I guess kind of like if someone's like, hey, kind of thinking about getting a coach, but not really sure. Like, I guess like what should someone look for if they are like looking to get a coach or they're slightly interested?
Most people come to me when they are like approaching a distance or a goal that just seems like big.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times it's, I want to qualify for Boston. I want to run my first marathon. That's when they're like, okay, I should really enlist someone who knows what they're doing for this. And so, I mean, the process would be like, we meet face to face with every athlete that we consider taking on and have like a conversation about what our values are as coaches, which I mentioned, and then what their expectations are of a coach, and like how we would work together based on those things.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's not a good idea to just like take every single athlete, even if they don't like really align with your values, because ultimately there's going to be like a gap somewhere where they're not going to have the buy-in.
Yeah.
Because those values don't align.
Right.
And it's not going to work. It's not going to be a successful coach-athlete relationship.
Yeah.
So for us, we really want to get to know that person at least a little bit, make sure they're a good fit for us.
So did you have your own running coach then?
I do now.
And what did you look for when you were trying to look for a coach?
I need a coach that I feel like genuinely like cares about me like as like a person and not just an athlete. And so it's, for me, I wanted a lot of communication, which is what like I offer to my athletes too. I wanted somebody who had been on a similar journey. So my coach is Mary Denholm. She's in Colorado. It took her 3 years to get the marathon goal that I'm trying to get. She's a little bit of a different background than me, which I actually liked. I needed somebody who was like personable, but could also like not like enable the stuff that was like holding me back too. So,
Yeah.
And I think there's like an art to being straightforward, but also like compassionate.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I was looking for, along with obviously like education and like understanding exercise physiology.
How and why did you really get started running?
It's not like a very typical story. So I did the mile and the 800 on my middle school track team. And then
What was your mile time?
in middle school, so I could not break 6:20, and like I was so competitive that like I would just run as hard as I could. I knew nothing about training, and so I would just like go like as hard as I could, and then I would finish in like second or third place, and I would just cry.
Little baby Laura.
Which is so funny to me now, because now I'm just like, if a woman passes me, I'm like, get it, girl, you know? Like, I'm like, And like, I just like could not handle it as a 12-year-old. So.
But it is that pressure. I mean, like,
Yeah. I think it's common for kids to feel that way too. Yeah.
and not know what they're doing.
Yeah. And just go all out.
And my coaches who were like doing the best that they could were like, they were PE teachers and they didn't know, like we would just go out and do hill repeats till we were all throwing up.
Oh, goodness.
Like, not really, but yeah, it felt that way.
Yeah. It just seems like a very effective form of training.
So anyway, that was my like intro to the sport beyond like running for fun as a kid.
Yeah.
We moved to a really small town after that, and they actually did not have a cross country or a track team.
Wow.
I would like go out on like sporadic jogs and like listen to my iPod shuffle. I don't know if anyone remembers those.
Did they have the clip? Was that the clip-on one?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And that was screen. So it was just like a regular MP3.
Uh-huh. And like my millennial music. And I like
angsty stuff. Or
Oh yeah, I was very angsty as a teenager.
good.
Probably because I didn't have track and cross country. And so I always really enjoyed it, but it just wasn't like an option. So I didn't really think about it. I would do like sporadic 5Ks, like if a family member wanted to.
Aw.
But really it wasn't until 2016. I had my daughter. I had postpartum depression with both of my kids. It's very common hormonal imbalance. And I started running after I had her. Like, man, my brain just like functions better after a run, and I just like fell right back in love with it. It was like, why did I ever stop doing this?
Aww.
And then I ran my first marathon in 2018 in Chicago, where I'm going back to this year. And I got addicted like everyone else.
Yep, you all run your first marathon. I'm never doing that again.
And then
And here we are.
signs up for ultra.
Yeah, I was like literally like a day later, I was like, I could do that faster.
Yeah. I got more in me.
Yeah. We love it though.
It's funny how it went down too, because it was like, okay, I just left this career that I spent 7 years working on.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a gym membership, and I was like, okay, I could drop, obviously I like love my daughter and I have no regrets about the time I spent with her as a baby, but
Aww.
I could go drop her off, run for 30 minutes on the treadmill, take an uninterrupted shower,
Key.
and then proceed with my day. And I just felt like 100 times better by doing that. Yeah. So yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, I definitely relate to like the mental health thing, because I was, not to get too much into my story, but like kind of the same thing. Like I'd get home from work and I'm like, okay, now what? Like I was long distance with Matt, and like, so I wasn't in the best mood all the time. But running, I was like, okay, I feel better.
It's like a game changer. Yeah. So, and I think a lot of people, like, they talk to me now and like, I'm like trying to like crush my goals, and like it's easy to forget about your why and like why you started, but like at the end of the day, it's like it goes way beyond like trying to hit a time goal.
Right. Which you and I have talked about.
Yes.
Because I've struggled, as you know.
Yeah, and you can have a time goal, and like that isn't like 100% your why too.
Right.
Like things don't have to be as black and white.
Yeah.
Because people want them to be. Look at the sunrise.
I love it.
So pretty.
Yeah, was it road closed on Wednesday?
I can't remember.
I didn't either.
I think we had gone in the grass, and we were commenting about how tall the grass was. So
I always think of Kelly when we run by here, because here's where you can hear the river to Pear that's buried.
Oh, wait, it's buried?
Yeah.
Kelly is like a wealth of knowledge.
she is.
I love running with her.
Yeah.
Well, and she always talks about how you literally like changed her life essentially and changed her running.
I never knew that.
Yeah, so that's the only access to the river to Pear.
Oh.
And she always gives you glowing reviews, of course. But seriously, like, as mothers, wives, and just women who have a career and are balancing a lot. Like, it's important to have the you time and to have the time that you can literally, like, just put aside things. And my sisters always talk about how difficult it is to shower without, like, their kids interrupting them.
Yeah. You need to recharge. You have to put on your oxygen mask first.
Right.
And I know, like, by doing that, like, one, I'm showing her, like, hey, when you're a mom, you can take care of yourself too, which is important to me.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, I'm a better parent for it as well. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, like, you're teaching her.
Yeah. Because, like,
That's awesome.
when you think about, like, how you go about your life, like, a lot of the time we learn by what we see our moms do.
Right.
So.
Yes. Yeah, it's a wonder why my sleep schedule is all over the place. Growing up with my mother, who was a night nurse.
Oh, yeah.
Love them. Shout out, Mom.
Yeah.
I know she always loves how
Hey,
much
Mom.
I talk about her on the podcast.
Does she listen to the podcast?
Oh, yeah. She's a very supportive woman.
My mom was like, I need to watch that podcast. Like, Mom, you listen to a podcast. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. That's awesome.
You said earlier, like, yeah, you're a run coach, but you do focus a lot on the strength portion, and, like, especially as a female, I think females think, like, oh, if I start doing strength training, like, I'm gonna get bulky and bigger, like, gonna get all this muscle, and it's not really what I'm looking for. Like, how do you get people, like, bought in on the strength training piece?
It depends on their goals, and when it comes to, like, running performance, it's, like, very hard. Like, you have to, like, genetically have something to where you're holding on to muscle more than other people. But if you're running 4 to 7 days a week, strength training 2 times a week for 30 minutes is probably not going to make you bulky. Those people who you see who are, like, ripped, like bodybuilders, they're in the gym every day, splitting body parts, and they eat a ton of calories to support that muscle growth.
Right.
But that being said, I think it's okay to, like, have performance and body composition goals, and they can go together as long as you are adequately fueling when you want to be performing for running. It's, like, a tricky subject because unfortunately our culture has, like, embedded this, like, smaller is better mentality.
Yeah.
And it can be harmful for a female endurance athlete. But at the end of the day, if you want to run fast, you need to be able to put force into the ground.
Right.
And strength training is a great way to do that, and also injury-proof yourself.
Yeah.
Well, and it ties into the, like, mental health. I mean, I don't want to pretend that I don't know male athletes who've had eating issues as well and fueling issues as well. It can be really harmful. Have you ever come to a point with one of your athletes where you've had to have a conversation about that, or
About eating enough?
Just like the importance of just really them getting the mental help they might need for either fueling or otherwise.
So if I start to suspect it's, like, a problem, then that's when we enlist a registered dietitian.
Okay.
So I do talk about nutrition in, like, a broad sense,
Yeah.
like getting enough around your runs throughout the week. But that's kind of where it stops. It's like, are you getting enough? And then if there are, like, issues with that, or we're just, like, trying to, like, take things to the next level, then we enlist someone with, like, you know, a master's degree and a board certification in nutrition who, like, knows what they're talking about.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, like, such a huge resource that
Yeah.
I feel like is something that people probably don't, like, immediately start, like, jump to, or
Yeah. For
takes
sure.
a few other doctors to tell you, oh, go talk to a dietitian.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't realize that, like, your running coach or even, like, certified, like, nutritionist who maybe didn't go to school to be a dietitian, like, they're not going to have the in-depth knowledge that you need to really like individualize
Yeah.
your nutrition plan for yourself. And when it comes to like eating disorders, you really want to make sure that person's in like good hands too.
Yeah. Sorry to cut deep into that topic.
Yeah.
I mean,
We can go there.
yeah, I was like, Elaine, this is my, like...
I have strong
It's,
opinions, yeah.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued. Like, I think especially after reading Kara Goucher's book, like, yeah, I knew stuff was going on, which is a whole nother topic too, but like, as far as like a female, especially like younger girls,
Yeah.
like in high school, that they see other, elite runners that are super skinny, and they think that's what they need to do to get faster.
Right. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's just like not all about your body composition.
Right.
Like, I don't know if you guys follow Ali Ostrander on social media.
Yeah.
She just made a really great post about elite not being a look, being a level
Ooh.
of fitness. And I think even the women that we like see that we're like, oh, she like looks elite, she
Yeah.
might even be struggling with body
Right,
image.
Yeah. Well, so I went to the same high school as Emily Infeld. She has been very open recently about her eating disorders
Uh-huh.
and how thinner isn't always faster. Doesn't mean faster.
Yeah.
Your body aesthetic doesn't determine your performance.
Right. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I mean, truthfully, it is important that, like, because I went to an all-girls high school, so all of the runners who come from that high school, like, know who Emily Infeld is and follow her on social media, and that's, like, so important to us.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Gretchen, I feel like, not to sidetrack the conversation, but kind of just a love of Forest Park moment, like, no, there's
Oh,
a
turtle.
R.I.P.
Dead turtle.
Dead turtle.
Sorry, what was your I Love Forest Park moment?
Okay, yeah, that was interrupted. Well, at so many places in Forest Park, we've had so many fun times, including this area, which I now feel like is our wildlife area when we got attacked
Yeah.
by bugs. So what does your typical day look like, actually?
Typically, before like 7:30 a.m., I'm like in like mom mode,
Okay.
getting everyone to where they need to be, which is crazy when your kids are little because they just have like no concept of time. So you're like, hey, we're gonna be late.
We gotta go.
And they just kind of look at you. You're like, get your shoes on. And they're like, why?
I'm a child.
Right. I don't know what time is.
Yeah. What is
I have an
time?
unlimited amount of it.
Anyway, so then it depends on the day of the week. And so I start my week by planning. I use like a task management software that has like helped me
Damn.
up level my coaching game so much. I plan, I take all those tasks and I put them into little like priority buckets for the week. And then after that, I will follow that list. Usually I don't like letting emails sit for more than like 24 hours, which is like, I don't know, maybe like very like millennial of me, but I try to make sure I responded to everybody in my inbox. And then I'll log on to VDOT, respond to any athlete comments, any conversations that need to be had about workouts and runs, and go from there. I publish all my training plans, usually by Wednesday afternoon, and then I'll work on marketing one of those days, and then I'll work on emailing my athletes one of those days. And then if I have like custom plans that need to be written, those have to find a place to happen too. So it's busy.
Yeah. Yeah, I always know when I get the email that's like, your coach has added to VDOT. I'm like, uh-oh. That's Laura put in there.
Yep. Oh yeah, and I like get into the weeds with I love writing training plans. Yeah.
Well, so when you sit down and write a training plan, what do you consider?
So it depends on the athlete and their goals.
Yeah.
Like if it's Gretchen and we're planning for the Houston Marathon, 3 to 6 months back, I'm like, okay, here's the Houston Marathon. Where does she want to be for Houston? and then working backwards to where she is now, how are we going to connect the dots?
Gotcha.
And then training is periodized. So you split it into like different phases, a base building phase, a strength phase, and then race specific taper, perform, recovery. So it's like a pyramid. I see a lot of athletes put all of their stock into like the 12-week build before their A goal race, but there's so much that you can be doing in the base phase of training to like help you get to your goal way beyond those 12 weeks. So
Right.
it's really fun. And it's different for everybody too. Like different athletes respond differently to training. There are more like slow twitch oriented athletes, more fast twitch oriented. So yeah.
And do you just like, I guess, gain that knowledge of if they're slow twitch or fast twitch? It's kind of hard to say, twitch.
Yeah.
Like, is that something you learn over time, or?
Yeah, and like some people are just like a combination, like most people probably are.
Yeah.
But I know very, very well what it looks like to be a slow twitch athlete because I am one. So
Okay.
like I respond to volume and like tempos are like my jam. But my coach likes to give me a lot of 5K pace, which is like the bane of my existence.
Yeah.
And she's very fast twitch, but that's why part of the reason why she's such a great coach is because like once you identify what the athlete has, what the athlete's like strengths are in training, it's good to like know that and keep that in mind because you want them to be confident, but also how are you helping them develop the other side?
Yeah.
Because you need both
Right,
to
yeah.
perform well.
Yeah, I now follow your coach on Instagram
Yeah.
after Houston. She's a beast.
I forgot you met her. Yeah. She is a beast. She's like crushing 100-mile weeks right now.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa. And I feel like she's out on the trail a lot too.
She loves, yeah. So she spent like 3 years trying to go sub 3 in the marathon, and
Oh, wow.
she's now an Olympic trials qualifier, focusing on ultra distances.
My goodness.
It's like very inspiring, yeah.
What are the distances that you typically coach for then? Are most of your athletes marathons or half marathons?
A lot of them, yeah. I mean, from 5K through the marathon is the majority.
So not many 1-milers.
I do host, so I do work with high school students in like their off seasons, which is what I'm starting tomorrow. Probably have 6 or 7 high school students who come to me in between track and cross country or vice versa. And we help them develop a base and just get strong and ready for the training season ahead. They're a little bit more competitive than their peers, and they just want to level up, so.
Say you have an athlete that are like, I don't really have a goal race, but I want to, maybe in a year or something, run a marathon. Like, how do you, I guess, build a plan for someone that doesn't necessarily have like a goal race anytime soon?
Yeah, so I work with athletes who don't like to race, actually. You can still treat their year like similarly, where you develop different systems, and that's it. So you're still periodizing the training into like base strength, race specific, which could be just whatever they want to work on, or not. You could like keep them in more of like a maintenance phase too. But then yeah, there's just never any. There's not like a peak performance date that you're like going for. Like when you periodize training, another reason you want to kind of like switch focuses every 3 to 6 weeks is because the athlete can get kind of stale. That's why it's not the best thing for most people to like spend the full 12-week training cycle for a marathon just doing a midweek tempo. Like there should be like other workouts in there.
Yeah.
So even if there isn't like a goal race, it's good to have that variety and like workouts throughout the athlete's year.
And obviously I'm currently one of those, so.
So it's like with you, it's like, okay, let's like not like have Gretchen like grind right now, but like let's keep her fit so that if she does, have a goal at some point, we've still done a good amount of work to help her progress.
All right, we'll stop nerding out.
Yeah.
The one thing I really want to ask, which I kind of sort of already know the answer, but Eureka Run Club.
Yeah.
So that was your brainchild, but like, why did you want to start that group?
So I started it because there are no road running groups out by Eureka. There are a lot of trail groups.
Yeah.
But there was nothing for road runners, and there was nothing for like super newbie runners. It was something, you know, when I first moved to Eureka, I looked, there was a club. There's nothing. 5 years later, I have a client and good friend who encouraged me to just do it. And so we did. And it's been good. I think a lot of people appreciate having something close by. We're all used to driving at least 20 minutes to meet the other clubs.
Yeah. To come to Forest Park.
Yeah. And Eureka has some really wonderful greenways and parks too. So it's good to connect the community, support the local businesses.
Yeah.
And get more people running locally.
As I say, I love how you are connecting to the local businesses. Like you'll start runs at different places, end runs, different places. Like,
It's been good. It's been a process getting it up and going, but yeah, we've all really enjoyed having the runs.
Do you have a favorite park?
That's a good question.
And it doesn't have to be Forest Park.
It's probably Forest Park is great, but I don't think it is Forest Park. So I think it's Route 66 State Park.
Okay.
Out in Eureka.
Yep.
So it's such an interesting place because it used to be like a resort town.
Yeah.
And there was like an environmental disaster. Somebody like dumped a chemical into the soil. Everybody got really sick. And they just closed this town down for like 20 years.
What?
And like gated it off. Yeah. And nobody could go in there because you would get sick. So
I have so many questions.
You gotta look this up.
Yeah.
So after that, they turned it into a state park. And
Well, they buried the town, right?
So they buried the town, and then there were pieces left over that they like burned.
Yeah.
And then they buried like the whatever contraption they used to burn, whatever was left over. So there are like these hills when you run by that you think are just hills, but it's where they like buried the town.
So, in like a few centuries, they'll dig up these mounds and think that we were somehow involved with the Cahokians.
So, yeah, it's really cool, and I love it because there's like a 4-mile outer loop and a 2-mile inner loop, which is just like fantastic for speed work. It's like totally flat, easy to get your legs turning over fast. Yeah, it's just awesome.
Okay, I have another thing to Google.
Add that to the list, Elaine.
Sherman Beach was also a resort town back in the day. Like, it seems like they all just moved out to the Ozarks.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really neat to read about.
So what is, obviously, some coach.
Thank you.
You do great things there. You're doing great things for Eureka. Personally, like, what is your, like, favorite race distance, and, like, what are your upcoming races and goals?
My favorite race distance is the marathon. My favorite distance to race and to coach, actually.
Ooh.
It's just like something that I never thought I would do. So it's like beyond exciting to me. I would like to break 3 someday. I ran a 3:04, but then I backtracked a little to a 3:15. So it's definitely not been like a linear journey.
Yeah.
But I do love that journey, and just like being in marathon training is so fun to me. Okay, I lost my train of thought. What was the rest of the question?
Next race.
Okay, next race is I'm doing like a.
Are you doing grandmas?
I'm not doing grandmas. I'm doing like a biathlon relay in Millstadt, Illinois.
Okay, cool.
Where I run 5 miles and my brother-in-law is gonna cycle for 22.
That's awesome.
And so we're hoping we can crush that together.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing the Chicago Marathon
I'll see you there, but you'll be passing me.
in October. We'll have to connect.
Yeah.
So I'll do Chicago, and then 7 weeks later I'm gonna go run the Honolulu Marathon.
Woohoo!
Yeah. It's like my year.
That's amazing.
I like to take like long breaks after marathon. Like I'll take like 3 weeks off if it's like a goal race.
Because, yeah, Honolulu is more for fun, quote unquote.
Yeah,
right?
But it's like 70 something degrees and super hilly, so it's still gonna take a big physical effort. But yeah.
And it's humid over there, I will say that.
So I'm not expecting to PR at Honolulu, but it'll be so amazing just to like run along the coast.
Yeah, what's the path look like for that?
You start in like the city, like downtown Honolulu at like 5 a.m.
Oh my God.
And then you run up and down the coast. So they started early, but here it's like 10 o'clock our time.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking it would be 1 a.m. our time for some reason.
Yeah. And they kind of have to because of the weather.
Yeah.
They shoot off fireworks.
It'll rain eventually.
Yeah.
And it's humid.
So yeah.
So 5 a.m. in the city, then down to the coast?
Yeah, up and down the coast, around like Diamond Head, like cool historic monuments. Yeah, it'll be good. It does draw a fairly competitive crowd too. Like there are some like bigger elite runners that come out. Surprisingly, I was surprised because it's not like a particularly fast course.
Right.
Well, I'm wondering if they just almost want an excuse to go to Hawaii.
Yeah. Like, who can blame them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be there.
Right.
Are you a morning runner or a night runner?
I am both. It just depends because one, with my kids, that can make things complicated, but also my husband travels.
Oh, really?
And so if he's out of town, I can't just like leave him at home to go run at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
I don't think my daughter would appreciate that.
No. Wake up and like, where's Mom?
Yeah. So I've been in the heat a lot lately. But I adjust my pace for sure. St. Louis summer is like no joke. Yeah. And I like the feeling, running in the heat is rough, but I do like the feeling of like being heat acclimated and just like how strong that makes you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it feels so good of 100% humidity acclimation on your garment.
Yeah. I feel like mission accomplished.
Yeah. I can die happy now. And not of heat stroke.
Right.
Yeah. Because you adjusted like a smart person.
Yeah. Yeah, how is Gretchen's as one of your athletes?
Wow.
Is she as funny as she is around me?
No.
She's pretty funny. She's great, yeah. She's a great athlete. All of my athletes are awesome to work with.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I know I talked a little bit about what I did before I was a coach and like the going from like people who you're trying to convince to like do a better job to like sell t-shirts.
Yeah.
Right.
To like these being like goals that people like genuinely care about. It's very rewarding.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, we were good at selling t-shirts too, but you know.
But that's a lot more satisfying too,
Yeah.
I would imagine.
It is. And I mean, just like the stories that you hear of like people overcoming cancer and running their first marathon back and like
Right.
just
That gave me goosebumps.
or having, you know, kids and thinking like their running career is over.
Yeah.
And realizing it's not.
Well, so then I do want to, since you brought that up, like how a lot of female runners actually get faster after they have kids.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a very fascinating
Yes.
thing.
Is there like I don't think there's like actual like
I don't think there is.
So
But do we have anecdotal evidence?
But I feel like I hear, like, time and time again, like,
yeah.
I just PR'd.
Yep. I feel like my mom runners are like some of the most badass people on the planet. Like, and like, I think my theory, and this could be like totally off, is you have kids and you almost feel like maybe you do think it's like over, but then there's like these like small windows in the day where you can train and like make the most of it.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, that could be like really motivating to like go for it, you know?
Right. Like, what do I have to lose?
Right. Whereas like maybe beforehand, I don't know. I mean, for me, before I had kids, it was like, yeah, I like have all the time in the day, and I just didn't have a reason to make it a big priority.
Yeah.
That's not everybody's like experience.
Right.
I have a lot of athletes without kids too who are just like crushing their goals. But yeah, it is interesting. There are a lot of very sweetie moms in the world.
Yeah. I always thought too, like, does pain tolerance kind of come into like an effect?
I feel like that is like a female thing in general.
Yeah. Well, because they say like what? Like at a certain point, it's like 24, 48 hours or something, like a female can outperform a male.
Yeah.
But it's like we have to get to that point.
I think it's like there's something with like the endurance component. Yeah. I agree with you. You know, and like that being said, I feel like women can also be like a lot harder on themselves. Maybe like a little bit more prone to like overtraining.
Yeah. I think we were in our heads probably more.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, like there's like nuance to everything, and I have male athletes who are similar too, so I don't want it to just seem like I'm like trying to put like people in boxes.
Right.
Well, and I'm excited to see like how the world of non-binary athletes kind of settles.
Yeah.
I like seeing races add that third category.
Yes, I agree.
And seeing how it affects
You guys want to cross?
yeah.
Okay.
Seeing how it affects competition. It's always interesting.
It is interesting, and like I think we're just like we're learning more and more.
Yeah.
What's the actual time?
It is 6:04.
Yeah. So I'll keep going. Do you want to stop, Gretchen?
Probably should.
Okay.
I don't know if my coach would like that very much.
Let's not go crazy. Yeah.
Well, Laura, thank you so much for
thanks.
coming out
That was
with
fun.
us today.
Yeah, it was really fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
That's it for this episode of Fartlek Friday on Happy Pace. Like this episode and channel if you found your happy pace while listening. Subscribe to us on Spotify, YouTube, and now Apple Podcasts. You can find us on social media at happy_pace_podcast on Instagram and TikTok. Email us happypace@houseofmachka.com if you have any questions, comments, and ideas for guests. This is a House of Machka production. Our music is written, performed, and recorded by Grant Underhill, Mike Plasmeier, and Jake Laconte. Our graphic designer is Rachel Slingluff. Our marketing manager is Gretchen Brune. This episode was recorded and edited by Elaine Sims. Happy Pace was recorded in front of a live Forest Park audience.
That's how we got to 26.2 miles. Thank you now, it's good morning. Wait, it's actually the Casey. We did it. I shot out already this morning. Me too. My hey. Hi, Bonnie. Morning. Hi, Dog. Morning. 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 Hey, Drew. I wonder if that's Drew. Morning. Morning. Oh, hey, Kim. It's great. I knew someone that I ran past. Morning. 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 Good job. I'm sorry. Morning. 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 Also really need to go to the bathroom. Morning. 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 And morning. Morning.
Buddy.
Morning.
Morning. Time to get back up and dirty.
Morning. Hey guys. Hey Luke.
Let's pass some of the Big River Racing team.
That's perfect.
That was perfect.
Morning. But morning.
Morning. Oh,
Yeah.
hey Rita. Do you want to be on
Morning.
a podcast? We're recording right now.
Elaine is recruiting her next podcast guest.
Yeah.
It's a good thing I'm smiling.
Hi, Haley.
Haley, yeah,
We're on right
yeah.
now. We're recording.
Say hi.
Hi. Good morning. 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 Morning.
Hi, Sarah. Hi, Lauren.
Morning. 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 Sorry.
Morning.
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 I think. Good morning.
Morning.
Morning. Morning. Good morning. Morning.
Morning.